setting SMART KPIs and driving performance accountability.
We're going to take that again. Welcome to HRWITTA Mid Week Symposium. It's a pleasure to have you all around. And straight to the topic for today, it's setting SMART KPIs and driving performance accountability. Please, can somebody confirm that you can clearly hear me? Please confirm that you can clearly hear me through the chat. If you can hear me, just say you can hear me, or you put it in the chat so that I can know. So I want to believe everybody can hear me, actually. Okay, so today is about how can we move from measurement to real accountability and execution. What is performance management is really all about? Is it just about measuring performance? What is it really about? Like 95 of 100 organizations will tell you that one of their pain points right now, one of their pain points is performance management. Performance not actually yielding business outcome. So that seems to be the problem almost everybody have, aside maybe recruitment and the like. But before we continue this session, we're quickly going to do a very brief exercise. So let me call that up for us to participate in that exercise, and then we come back to the session. So on your screen, you are going to be seeing a QR code. So it's going to be interactive session. Kindly scan and participate. So can you see? So you can scan it and then minimize your minimize it on your phone so that you can participate in the exercise, participate effectively. So how many of us are there now? You are there? Have you been able to scan? Or let's see if we can also share the link with you. Or you just go to mentee.com. Okay, thank you. Somebody's already there. Just go to mentee.com, then put in the code, and it takes you straight. Okay, so how did the day go today? Great. Okay, nice to know that today went well today. Who else is there? One of two responded. So we only have 2 persons that have joined this. Are you having any difficulty? If you're having any difficulty, put it in the chat box. Okay. Very well. Okay. So you are using the Zoom chat box itself. That's okay. So if you cannot access this, of course you can see it. So you can actually send your response through the chat box. That's a very smart move, Olusegun. Okay, so we have 3 persons. I'm seeing great, I'm seeing awesome, I'm seeing good. Okay, all positive, beautiful. Then I'm seeing very well. I'm seeing amazing. Thank you, Blessing Ibuagwe. Okay. Awesome. Who else is there? Let's make it very, very interactive. Not bad. That's sunshine. That's Shim. Okay, I'm seeing very great. Very great. Great. Awesome. Good. You can see this. You can see that the emotions, right, are different. See, quite good. And we take it from good to great to very great to quite good. Okay. So we take it from good to quite good, great. Okay. So between good, really nice, which one is quite good and really nice? Which one is highest? Which one is higher? Okay, so we have good, we have really nice, we have quite good, we have great, we have very great, we have somewhat tiring. Oh, so sorry, I empathize with you. I empathize with you. We have encouraging, we have good. Ejiro, thank you. Kenny Omishore, thank you. Encouraging. For those of us on Mentimeter, we really cannot know your name. So this is the beauty of Mentimeter. And I would like us to actually familiarize ourselves with it. So anytime you are going to be having a session with me, please come with an extra device, all right, that you are going to be using to interact in a live session like this. Okay, so let's move to the next one. So apparently now we have, let's say, okay, still have just 3 persons in the room. Okay, all right, so let's move on. Where are you joining us from? Where are you joining us from? Very, very important. So let me know where you are joining us from. Let me know where you are joining us from so I can see Lagos. Okay, where's okay, Songota. Okay, beautiful. From Jos, Emmanuel Kalat, Akas, thank you. Nice to have you here. Nice to have you. Olusegun Olawale is from Shango. Thank you. The participant joining from Lagos. Nice to have you. Okay. Delta, beautiful. Oh, all the way. Our people from up country. Thank you, Ejiro. Okay. US is going to tell us blessing from Lagos. Beautiful. US. Okay. So let's move on. In which of these category do you belong right now? Are you an HR practitioner? Are you a line manager? Are you an employer? Okay, I'm seeing HR practitioner. So you all can see the screen, right? So this is it when you are able to actually, so this will have really helped us. I am doing well, Adibola Lagos. Okay, thank you, Adibola. Okay, so we're going to manage this for today. And subsequently, can you all still see my screen? I want to believe. Employer. Okay, so we have 2 HR practitioners. We have an employer in the room. So, okay, what do you mean by one? So just call it out. You have to type it out. Are you an HR practitioner? Are you a line manager? Are you an employer? So you have to call it out. Okay, if you're just joining us, what you have to do is to just use your device, either your current device, if you can actually minimize your Zoom. So scan this QR code on the screen that you are seeing right now, and you are going to be able to participate. But in a situation where you cannot do that, just respond through the chat box so that you can be part of the exercise. So HR practitioner Olawale, thank you for that. Blessing, I'm still expecting your response. You said 1. So which one? I'm guessing you are saying that you're an HR practitioner. Okay, so we don't have any line manager in the room. Okay, moving on. Rate your knowledge of today's topic. We are talking about performance management and KPI. So, okay, thank you, Blessing. What's your knowledge? What's your knowledge? What's your knowledge level of the topic tonight? What's your knowledge level of the topic tonight? Let's keep it coming. Basic. Okay. Interesting. Okay. D. Type it out. Alawale. Just a suggestion. The HR practitioner could also be line manager too, just in case we don't have one. Okay. A very good observation there, actually. You're very correct. So we take number. What we mean by line manager now is that you are not an HR practitioner. You are a line manager that want to learn more about performance management. So if you are on the WhatsApp group, I'm sure you know the difference from that perspective, or the perspective from which we are communicating this from. Okay, so a line manager, thank you, Emmanuel. Please, can we unmute our mic? Let's unmute our mic. Okay. All right, so we have line manager. Okay, we've moved past that. We have someone that has a basic knowledge of the topic, the intermediate knowledge of the topic. We have, okay, intermediate knowledge of the topic. Okay, so we don't have any advanced knowledge or expert knowledge. It's okay, beautiful. Okay, so moving on to the next one now is, why do most performance systems fail, in your opinion? I think we need to, should we take it? I was thinking we should just, oh no. So let's hold on to that. Let's take this one. Name one or two key expectations from today's session. Okay, so what are your expectations from today's session? What are your expectations from today's session? What are your expectations from today's session? Can we, in one word or two? Okay, to practically know how to set KPI. Okay, beautiful, Olawale. To practically know how to set KPI, not theoretically. I love that use of English. Broader perspective of KPI on performance management. Okay, beautiful. Any other objective? New knowledge of the topic. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's keep it coming. Misalignment of goals. Okay, you want to know or understand how goals can be misaligned with performance expectation. To have knowledge on the topic, Emmanuel. Okay, thank you, everyone. We're going to go back to the slide now. So let's go back to the topic, to the slide rather. Okay. So welcome back to setting SMART KPIs and driving performance accountability, moving from measurement to real accountability and execution. Once again, my name is Temitope Aloba. It's my pleasure to have you. Okay, so why do most performance systems fail, in your opinion? So let's all do this through the chat box now. Why do most performance systems fail? So it's good that we all have, some knowledge of the topic. So based on your understanding, based on your observation so far, why do you think performance management systems fail? So especially for those of us that are HR practitioners in the room. Why do you think performance management fail? So do we have any? I'm counting, I'm waiting, I'm counting, I'm waiting, I'm counting, I'm waiting. Okay. Okay, wrong system design. Okay, that's Olusegun. Okay, thank you. Samsung says C, that is lack of accountability. Kenny Omishore say inaccurate measurement slash KPI. Okay, inaccurate measurement slash KPI. Okay, that's poor KPI. Beautiful. So someone said misinterpretation of job design and job description. Ejiro, beautiful. I love that angle you are coming from. Wrong system design, Emmanuel. C, Blessing Ibagwe, lack of accountability, poor KPI, Pamela. Okay. Beautiful. Let's keep Mike muted. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Let's keep moving. Thank you so much for your participation. There is no right, wrong or right, answer actually. So it is based on your thinking, based on your observation, based on your knowledge of the, of the environment where, these things is applicable. All right. So why organization fail at performance management? These are the reasons why a lot of organizations actually fail. So we have a lot of them, but for the purpose of this presentation, I will just be giving us a few, a few of them, which is definitely going to be in alignment with all the points that you have raised as to why performance management system fail. So performance, number one is that performance is treated as an annual event. So performance management is treated as an annual event. This is one of the reasons why organizations fail at performance management. So, and that results in what? That results in employee feeling surprised and disengaged and disconnected. So when an employee has given in one good year of their life into an employment, into an organization, and on the judgment day, you are telling that employee the employee is not working, or is not working as expected. So what you're actually literally saying is that the employee is not working as expected, and people take these things really, really personal. It's not a joke at all. So you tell me that all the stress, waking up early, closing late, not being able to do any other thing outside this job is a waste. It does not amount to anything. Are you kidding me? So these are the kind of things this is how employee actually interpret, some of those ratings that they get. So managers lack capability and confidence to manage performance. Another reasons why organizations fail at performance management is that managers seems to lack, a lot of managers, right? When we say managers, now we're talking about line manager, people that have supervisory responsibility and oversight function on their employees. A lot of them seems to lack capability and confidence to manage performance. A lot of them, because this is exactly why the question around JD, whose responsibility it is to actually drive performance management came up. We cannot treat everything in this particular class alone. So we'll see how far we can go today and continue from wherever we stop next time that I have the opportunity to share with you on the platform. So this particular one results in employees getting unclear expectations and inconsistent direction. So you can imagine the person that will set the performance direction, the performance expectation, if the person is lacking, on the subject, that there are gaps, knowledge gaps on the subject, on this particular subject, because performance management oftentimes seems to be or mistaken for HR affair. So a lot of managers, even though they know that something that affects the organizations, we have not been able to. It's not really their fault. In all fairness to line managers, for those of them who are on the line, in all fairness to them, we've not really take time to, dissect performance management to them. We've not really take time to train them, to empower them with performance management skills. To be honest, majority of us as HR professionals have also we are not well grounded in the subject, let alone the people that does not even have in the eyes of the business. So when it comes to performance management processes, the business believes that it is HR responsibility. Bankole, please go ahead. You raised up your hand. We said it's going to be interactive. So if you have any question before you forget, you can quickly chip in. Anyone we can't take during the class, we'll take it at the end of the session. Okay. All right. So another one is what? Goals are unclear. So when goals are unclear, unrealistic, or not aligned, that will definitely result in misalignment, confusion, and wasted effort. Wasted effort, wasted resources, around performance management, training, recruitment effort, recruitment. So there is going to be a lot of waste. Because what's the essence of bringing in somebody to actually help improve your system? All right, Adeola. Improve your system, and the individual and are tied. They don't know what is expected of them. They don't know how they are expected to actually perform. So it's going to all be misalignment, leading to confusion, leading to conflicts. Employers are not happy, and as a result, employers withhold some of the benefits, especially the ones that are within their discretion. And that is why you get things like, we are not paying 13th month this year. We are not paying leave allowance to anybody. We are not doing this. We are not doing that. How many of us are there? How many of them have seen this thing happen? If you are there, put it in the chat box. Say yes. If you have seen these things happen, employer just got angry. They said there is no benefit this year, no 13th month this year, no sharing of rice, nothing because of poor performance. How many of us are there? And the employee will be like, oh, but we are working. Generator is running every day. We are coming to work every day. So if you're telling us there is no money, how come you are able to run business? So misalignment, confusion, wasted effort, conflict. So another reason is because of no follow through or accountability. No follow through, that is lack of continuous or timely feedback. Performance management fail, or organizational fail at performance management when there is no constant feedback, and that results in performance management becoming a paper activity with no behavioral impact. Okay, no follow through. Feedback helps what? To reinforce the positive behaviors, performance management behavior, positive performance management behavior, or performance driven behavior. So how many of us can actually put in the chat box now? How many performance driven behaviors, do you know? What comes to mind now? Performance driven behavior, please. As a HR professional, I want to know how you probably decode this question. What are the performance driven behavior that comes to mind as we speak right now? What are the performance driven behavior that comes to mind as we speak right now? I'm waiting. So the system is overly complex. Another reason is when system is overly complex, performance management will not thrive. It will not yield any result. It will not amount to anything, right? Or much. Let me not say anything. It may not amount to much. So if it is overly complex, there will be low adoption, poor quality conversation, resentment toward HR. I've seen this thing live. So now let's even look at the system. Let's look at the system. So a lot of us might not be thinking, well, maybe the performance appraiser systems, talking about all those software. It's not only that can, serve as a system. Even your Excel is a performance management system. So let's look at it from that angle first. How many of us can design a very seamless, a very, active, a very effective performance management system on Excel, right? From your appraiser to your, from your JD. Let's take it from there. From your JD to your KPI, right? To your performance appraiser templates, which is performance tracking, those performance tracking tools, right? Then your PIP, your coaching program, personal development plans. How many of us can actually develop all of those things? Before we start talking about the software that we can use to now. So when we talk about system being overly complex or ineffective, we are not only talking about, SAP and the likes. Okay, focus on scoring rather than improvement. This is another reason why organizations fail at performance management. When the focus is only on appraisal rather than making the process itself to be developmental, first to be simplified, to be effective, to be easy to use, and then to be for the purpose, the overall exercise for the purpose of improvement rather than pointing and accusing finger. So you don't say, oh, you are the reason why we do not meet our target. Why? The question should be why. Why are you failing at your what? At your deliverables? Why are you not meeting your deliverables target? What are the issues you are having? Having a heart-to-heart conversation that can help the individual to open up, and then we come in with performance improvement intervention, right? And performance improvement intervention is not limited to training, all right? It could be just be provision of what? Provision of support, giving support where necessary, provision of support with tools, with knowledge, with resources that can aid such individual to improve in their performance. So performance management, organizational failure performance management, when HR tries to own the performance management from end to end instead of enabling it. So like I said, a lot of people, again, now this is not HR just trying to own. When the management feels that it is solely HR responsibility. So this can mean a lot of things. So how knowledgeable is your MD, your COO, right? Your stakeholders, shareholder, your board of directors, how well, how knowledgeable are they of this topic so that they can provide the right support for you as HR. So this results in minimal buy-in and poor ownership. So when it appears as HR, process, solely HR process or HR owned, system, then there will be minimal buy-in and then there will be poor ownership. So yesterday we took a poll on whose responsibility it is to drive JD, for instance. Some people say it is HR responsibility. Some people said it is what? It is HR line manager responsibility. So that kind of process, right, is a process through which we can actually get line managers involved. And it goes beyond just line manager as well. It is employee. And again, so the whole essence of job description, right, is to carry everybody in the loop along. Everybody in the organization. From the employees to the line management to that is the middle manager to the top management, is to carry JD alone. That JD exercise, if it is well done, is a good tool to use to actually provide role clarity, right? And then it's then begin to support other processes from recruitment to learning and development to performance management to compensation and benefits, even to succession planning. So you can see that the role of JD play a very significant role in effective performance management in an organization. Lack of measurable KPI. Okay, this leads to result in confusion, lack of performance expectation. Yeah. and zero or reduced trust in the performance appraisal process. Because when from the beginning there is confusion from manager to the employees, manager is confused about the topic, is giving wrong direction. So it's not clear or not even sounding, convinced. So in his communication, performance expectation communication to employee, the employee can see it. They are like, these things are like mirror. They can see. And so when you yourself, you cannot provide clarity. Now, there is no clarity from JD aspect. There is no clarity. Even if you have JD, it's not enough. So how do we break this JD into KPI, which is key result areas? So those key result area, how do you then break it down into KPI, measurable KPI that is SMART, that is specific, that is measurable, that is what's A now? We have measurable, we have achievable, right? Then the R is relevant. Then we have the T as time bound. So our KPI must what? Must be SMART. And for that to happen, then we now begin to talk about metrics. So you cannot have a SMART KPI without knowing how to use metrics. What is metrics? What is performance metrics? So it's a bit technical, but as we continue, we're going to see get more information or insight on it. So this also results in disengaged employee and or loss of talent, because when there is no clear performance expectation, there is no successful or robust or effective performance appraisal system, talent will leave, because a lot of things will then set in, like bias, like favoritism, and so many other performance appraisal biases that frustrate talent out of the organization. Okay, so there are performance management myths that we must stop if performance management system in our organization is going to deliver business outcome. So I released this myths, about 16 to 20 of them, and it was on my LinkedIn page. I think it's still there up to now. But we are going to be breaking it down one after the other. We will not be able to see all of them in this session, but at least we'll see significant number of them. So number one is job descriptions are just recruitment documents. Like I said earlier, a lot of persons do not see how job description, JD, is tied to what? To performance management. And believe me, a lot of JDs we have in so many organizations today does not really have much, does not really probably speak to a lot of jobs that we have those JD for. A lot of them are copied from online, from link, from Indeed, from Jobberman, here and there, right? And so when JD is not properly done, it will be hard. That's the beginning of the confusion. So JDs are the foundation of performance management. It defines outcome, not just the tasks. So all these tasks, while they are relevant or probably they are similar, the one you see online, while they might be similar to what you want that job to deliver. So in the paper this is what you expect the job to deliver, what the job to do. But in reality, this is what the employee is doing is different, completely different. And I've seen it played out as well. So the performance appraiser becomes a routine rather than what? Rather than measuring or checking the business health around your roles and what you contribute to the business. So it's supposed to align with roles or align roles with business goals, and it evolves with what? With role. As role changes, it also involves. So the shift here is JD helps you to move from tasks to what? To deliverable and success metrics. So the shift is that the JD goes beyond just listing tasks, right? It's supposed to provide deliverables, the key deliverables, and then communicate the success metrics. for that role. Another myth is performance review drive performance. It's not just performance review that drive performance. Performance review are a checkpoint, but continuous management was drive performance. So the checkpoint is a checkpoint because it lists the performance review itself just check the KPIs, the KRA, and the metrics that has been used to set the KPIs. How well are you meeting these things? So what are you doing to meet it? Can you show me? And can we see the effect of this performance, this input of yours in the business, in the department? So performance is built daily, not reviewed annually. It's an ongoing conversation that drives alignment and cause correction. So because when it is ongoing communication, supported by ongoing feedback, right, it will definitely call out some issues that we can quickly trash, and then we move on with, into achieving good performance outcome. Then it provides timely feedback, or if timely feedback fuels what? Fuels improvement. Managers set the tone, not review the form, right? So through this process of continuous checking, continuous communication, it shifts the annual review towards ongoing conversation and action. So as we are calling this out, so it's no longer about pointing and accusing finger. It's not just about waiting to the performance appraisal period and then show that you are the manager. No, that is not helpful to the business. It's not helpful to you. It's not helpful to the employees. So we should drop it and then, embrace continuous communication, continuous performance management. Feedback is only for problems. Feedback is for growth, not just gap closing. So while it is necessary to discuss when things are not working, it's also necessary to discuss when things are working. Give thumbs up, give feedback, and then call out the area that needs improvement. Okay, and even the performers, you don't just say, oh, they are performers, you're not talking to them. That creates some kind of gaps. So in reality, feedback is for growth. And when this happens, it reinforces what is working. It builds confidence and motivation. Because a lot of them may be doing some things right. They don't even know that what they are doing is correct. So that thumbs up, that nudging, that encouragement from their line manager reinforce capacity, and it builds confidence, right? It encourages continuous improvement. It creates a culture of openness and trust. So it shifts the feedback on problem to performance at risk, feedback on progress to performance at its best. So when you communicate or you give feedback appropriately, so you are not just calling out problem. Employees should see it as though, you are calling the attention to risk. Risk is about when, God forbid, a house that is about to, be set ablaze and you call someone's attention, or there's fire outbreak somewhere, then you ring the bell. Everybody gather at the muster point. So you see that once the bell is rang, everybody drops everything. And because you have called their attention to risk. And that is how feedback and effective feedback, appears when employee is not meeting the expected KPI. Okay. Another myth, performance management that needs to change. Performance management myth that needs to change. Coaching is only for underperformers. Coaching is for everyone, not just those who struggle alone. High performers need coaching to stay sharp. So you must know why, what is working for them, what they are doing, how they are doing it, and then you coach them to continue and some areas of improvement. So they see that as developmental. Nobody really wants to work with, even though you are a high performer. You don't want the essence of working under somebody is that you want to learn. You want to learn. So you give feedback. Oh, we see what you are doing. Okay, so you can improve. You can even do more. Oh, God, no, I don't want to do more than this. No, you can do more. That is good. You encourage them. So you don't you make it you give them like a free hand to explore. High performers are people that actually love to explore, and they also can be very careful. So you as a line manager must appear accommodating. You must appear as somebody that is very secure and not an insecure leader, that encourage performance. Otherwise, people will say, I don't want to overdo. They take some kind of things from some kind of principles of leadership. They said, do not, in the law, 48 laws of power, do not outshine your boss. Right. So if care is not taken, if you are not reinforcing what a high performer is doing, that high performer it's possible that it can do much more, but the person is trying to hold back so that they don't appear as though they are trying to outshine you as a boss. So coaching unlocks potential and fuels growth as well. It drives engagement, retention, and then yield maximum results. Great leaders coach consistently, irrespective of, the category where their employees fall. From fixing, so it takes this takes coaching from fixing to building potential, and from reacting to what to developing. From reacting to developing. So when you see, even for the employees that are not high performer, maybe mid performers or average performer or poor performer. So there are different approach to coaching such employees. But in all, it's all gearing towards developing the employees. It all geared towards building potential. There's difference between potential and performance. So maybe one of these days we'll look at that. Number 5, performance management is only an HR process. We talked a lot about this. It is what? It is for everybody in the business. It's a leadership responsibility. It starts with leader, not just an HR function. So managers drive day-to-day performance because they work with the employees. Leaders set expectations and remove roadblocks. Ownership creates accountability. HR enables, but leaders make it real, right? Because culture speaks a lot to performance management. Culture affects performance management a lot. So there may be the kind of culture that supports favoritism. In that particular kind of culture, I can tell you, hard work will not count. Hard work will not count. And people take advantage of, especially those ones that know how to do eye service and all of that. They can just relax, be giving the line manager or the leadership information. They've turned themselves to informer. Their primary assignment is giving information, gossiping. And then you can see that in that process, where sourcing thrives, right? Then you see probably going to have a situation whereby people get mark for sex for mark, right? Gossiping for mark, for performance rating, sex for performance rating, all manner of things for performance rating, not just work. So in that kind of environment, you will see that talent will suffer, and eventually the business will lose talent. So it is very important that we make it a business or a leadership responsibility, that there should be buy-in, and it should be supported with what? With positive culture. So you have to define the kind of culture you want in your organization. Is it performance-driven culture or a sentiment-driven culture? Recognition is only for outstanding. Okay, so our time is fast spent. Recognition is only for outstanding performance. In reality, recognition is for every contribution, not just exceptional results alone. Even when people are not performing optimally, you can still, like I said, encourage them, you can still also reward them. So it's just that the 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 reward can vary, right? From shopping voucher to salary increments to promotion and all of that. So you can have various, kind of rewards, and then what qualify for what. All of that you must have it offhand and communicate it upfront so that wherever anybody fall, they know what to get, or they have an idea what exactly to get in return for performance. High performers don't need feedback. Of course, we've talked a lot about this. Performance issues are only an employee problem. Performance issues are often a system and leadership issue, not just an employee issue. So that is why when you see organizations that are crying, shouting, wailing over performance management or performance issue, employee performance, please check well before you start, blaming the employees. All right, everybody somewhere have contributed to the performance management issue. So you want to look at the culture, you want to look at the processes, you want to look at the policies, you want to look at the history of the organization, and then know where to begin to tackle the performance management issue from. Number 9, once a year review are enough. Of course, we looked at this and we all agree that it's not sufficient. Pay increases are the only way to motivate employees. That is not true. Employees are motivated by meaning, growth, and recognition. How meaningful is the job they are doing? What is the career path? And what are the growth opportunities, for them in the organization? And then high performance being recognized, so it's not just about money. It's about purpose and meaningful work that create lasting motivation. It's about growth opportunity that inspire employees to do their best. It's about recognition that makes people feel valued and seen. It's about fair compensation, that really matter, not just the only driver. So a holistic approach builds engagement and loyalty. So you must move from transactional rewards to meaningful motivation, from short-term boost to long-term engagement. Very, very important. Then I think the last one for tonight is everyone gets the same raise, so it's fair. Okay. So this conversation came up somewhere a few days ago. So employee can perceive that it's not fair. When that is being practiced, everybody, especially high performers, they can be discouraged and drop their performance. A lot of your employees are not giving their best. They're not giving their all, and it's intentional, and for a reason best known to them. So it is your responsibility to ensure that, um, performance rewards are based on contribution, not just to be generalized. All right. So performance and impact should drive pay, not just make it an annual thing. I think somebody in one of my classes, performance management classes, have said this thing, that in the organization, whether or not they do appraisal, whether or not you pass, it's an annual thing. Salary will increase. So you can imagine in that kind of environment. So you have water the importance of performance management in that kind of environment. So there are key performance elements or elements to identify in job analysis. Okay. So we call it the performance flow model. And this is what you get through the job analysis. Key responsibilities is part of what you discuss during the job analysis. It's part of what your job analysis is going to produce. Key responsibilities is a summary of of the tasks at hand. So then the key output, very important. Key output. So what is the output of the responsibility? That is, what are those responsibilities meant to produce? So the performance flow model will help us to understand how performance should be structured and managed within any role. Okay, so it starts with what? Start with job analysis, where we identify 4 key elements of a job. The key responsibilities that I've mentioned, which is what the role is expected to do. You list them. It's a summary of the tasks, like I said. So key output, and it's from the key responsibility you draw the key result area. So the key responsibility are like the key result. When the task itself can be like 20, 30, very long, which is step by step, or what exactly you want the person to perform. Or say things like carry out job description, drafting, or draft job description, give out job description, explain job description. So you can see these are tasks. It's not just about, let's look at JD, for instance, now, preparation of JD, or ensure that all employees in the organization have JD. For that JD to happen, so that is the key result area. But the tasks underneath are what? Are many. It starts by what? By drafting JD, or let's say by starting with job analysis with the line manager, draft the JD in collaboration with line manager, ensure that the JD has follow a particular template. That is, all the key elements of a JD are listed. So when we say JD drafting is a line manager responsibility, I beg to differ. It is not. It is a collective responsibility of HR and line manager. Because you are going to play a whole lot of role. If otherwise, that JD is not going to produce its expected result. Now, it is easy for a line manager to give you the list of activities they want. So it becomes an activity without input, without outcome, or without results, without impact. Call it anything. So the key responsibility speaks to what the role is expected to do. Key output speaks to the tangible result the role must produce. Reporting lines, it's another one. Who the role reports to and collaborate with. So when we say reporting lines, of course, there will be main reporting lines. So are there other roles that this, or other key stakeholder or roles? Yeah. When we say role, we're also talking about the other job orders. Assuming a job is a sales rep now, what are the roles that this sales rep is going to be, working closely with? Is it going to be working with marketing team? Is it going to be working with HR team? Is it going to be working with production team? So you list all of that there. Okay, that's for reporting line. And then there was a poll that asked if we should include organogram in a JD. Some people said yes. Some people also said no, that is not necessary, right? So the whole essence of organogram is to actually communicate who reports to who, especially within the department and within the organization as a whole. So while it may not be an issue, but it becomes an issue when these things begin to overshadow the key responsibility itself, the JD itself. So JD is now becoming too voluminous. I mean, you are now having 5 pages JD, 6 pages, 10 pages, 12 pages, 15 pages, and that's a book. And then maybe structural wise, the way you even now place it, So you can design it in a way that is very, very friendly and easy to use. But the first thing first, the things that matters to that role should be the first, in my opinion. Even if you're not going to put the organogram, if you're going to put that, some organization do have to put in a lot of other things like the QMS, the quality assurance policies, or jam packs. without explanation. So if you even put all of those things and then have a proper session, onboarding session on JD with the employee as they are coming in, that would have even been better. So you see, it is not a role or responsibility of line manager to draft JD. It is a collective responsibility of line manager and HR, and it's HR that start that process. It's HR that ensure alignment. It's HR that ensure that that thing follow through the right process, the right template. And it's HR that ensure, because at the end of the day, you are the one that is going to give out that JD to the employee as they are coming in. Not just even as they are coming in. You are the one that will take that JD to the market to go and source. So JD supports recruitment. You see, the reason why a lot of us struggle in attracting employee or talent is because your JD already talks about how disorganized you are in your organization. And when we say you are in your organization, it's you that is posting that job. How many of us sometimes when we post job on a group, even our colleague, our fellow HR begin to drag us. This is your job because the proper job or drafting has not been done. Okay, so now where is the flow, the model, the flow model? This is it. From responsibility to output to KPI and then to performance evaluation. That is the flow. That is the flow. The responsibility leads to output. Output are translated into KPIs, which is key performance indicator. And then the KPIs are used for performance evaluation. So for a performance evaluation or performance management process to actually produce any tangible result, they must follow through this flow. Every KPI is tied to a clear output. Every output is tied to a what? A defined responsibility. And this creates alignment for both the business. It creates fairness, and it creates clarity in performance management. Okay, let's move on. We're going to do a quick class exercise. And we are going to go back to the other slide. Okay. I want to believe you can see this. You can see my next slide or the other slide. Apologies. Okay. So this is where we stop the other time. So let's go to the next one. Where do you think most organizations get performance management wrong in this flow? So please kindly participate as much as you can. If you can't participate through the Mentimeter, you can participate through the chat box. I will read the question here. So if you're going to be dropping anything in the chat box, you can put responsibility or output or KPI setting and performance evaluation. So looking at that loop, right, that flow, that performance management flow, where do you think most organizations get it wrong? Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Okay, I have one response. Performance evaluation. Okay, thank you, Olusegun. Performance evaluation. Okay. Solomon, you can see you are trying to type. You can't type on this. So you can only do that through the Mentimeter. Omission responsibility. Okay. Thank you. So we have performance evaluation, we have responsibility. Responsibilities, blessing. Responsibility from Solomon. Okay. 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 Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Nobody's on Mentimeter for now. Again. Okay. Oh, we have 7 people who responded. Okay. KPI setting. 1 person have responded now. So we have 7 people on Mentimeter. Okay, so let's keep our response coming on Mentimeter. Let's keep it coming. 7 solid human beings on Mentimeter. Where do you stand? Where do you think most organizations get performance management from? Okay, thank you. Infinite responsibility. So a lot of us are going for responsibility. All right. So by the time we put all of that in the Mentimeter, you can see what is winning. So I have one person that is saying KPI is a problem. Another person in the chat box says KPI is a problem. Then I have another person that says KPI is a problem. Omalara and Pamela. Thank you guys. Okay, so we have divergent view on this, which is okay. Okay, so we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back. Let's continue with this session now. I'm gonna come back to that exercise later. So are you getting something from this session? If you are getting something from this session, please put yes in the chat box. Put yes in the chat box. If you are not getting anything, put no. So let me know where you are. Okay, let me know where you are. 1, 2, go. Are you getting something from the session? Is it entering? Okay, I can see yes from Omolara. Sorry, from Kenny Omishore, from Infinix. Okay, thank you guys. Others, where do you stand? Are you getting something or not? Blessing said yes. Nonye said yes. Oh, Blessing said value. Thank you. Okay. All right. Others, Kumi. All right. Yes, please. Thank you. Let's keep it coming. Yes. So, Olutomiwa. Thank you. Amalara Oluwagbeson. All right. Beautiful. Nice one. Okay. So keep it coming. If you have not responded. So the performance flow model now, right? From what we have seen, responsibility equals to what? Activity. Very key. So don't say activity doesn't count its result. You see, it's part of it. I've always said this thing. I hate that statement, right? Say it's an unfair word. Activity is not in performance management. If we jettison activity, you are never going to get any result. Or the result you are getting is not a lasting result. Because you are not even using the right metrics to even measure the result. Now, you are not going to increase in capacity if you are not measuring activity, if you do not value activity, if you do not encourage activity. Because you know why? One sales can actually give you the volume that you want, right? Assuming that your focus is on volume. You say the target for the month is 10 billion. One sales can give you that 10 billion. So in that kind of situation, you are not helping the business. The employee in question, is just doing, minimal, putting in minimum effort to get the best possible result or benefit or reward. But in a situation whereby you have like 10 products and you distribute, you give targets, right? Targets on those 10 products. So look at it from sales angle, which is very easy to actually use for performance management explanation like this. But how do we then cascade it down to other roles? It is the activity that you will use. It's from the responsibility that define the activity that you get the key result area. So for instance, HR, you said that HR is meant to what? Is meant to handle recruitment. That is one unit of the HR as an HR manager. Is going to handle performance management, is going to handle compensation and benefit, is going to handle learning and development, which is training. So for each of those key responsibilities or key result area, right, are different responsibilities. So for recruitment, you're talking about
the quality of hire, that is the candidate we are bringing in, the quality of candidate, the quality of sourcing channel, the quality of new hire, which is new employee, the quality of onboarding, the quality of, how long this employee stays, employee engagement. You see, a whole lot under that recruitment. Then you move to compensation and benefit, talking about you should even rate how clear are employees on their salary. How clear, how well broken down are these salary parameters, salary elements. How often, how frequently are employee paid? Does employee get their pay slip and all of that? Our payment, or sorry, salary, is there salary range or salary structure in place? How competitive is our pay compared to competitors in the industry? So you have to itemize all of those and incorporate it into performance appraiser for that job holder. Then you go to training, learning and development. What do you want the individual to do? Those are the things that will give birth to the KPI which you are going to measure such individual. So when you now say activity does not count, you are just telling the individual already there is already a problem. You have already created a culture of favoritism, culture of godfatherism, godmotherism, and all manners of culture that does not produce results. Then output is the results. So if you cannot define the result from the get-going, what then do you want to measure? How then do you want to measure performance? Because performance is about results. KPIs is measurement. KPI is what you use to measure. It's just that you want to sew cloth and you don't have tape rule to measure the cloth or to measure the person that you want to sew. And you just look at the person and say, okay, all right, okay, don't worry. You want agbada, right? Or you want this, you want that. How are you going to? Have you ever seen a situation whereby you use somebody's picture to, they use somebody's picture to actually you design a cloth, and the outcome, what does it look like? Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small, sometimes it's completely messed up. So that is what KPI is like. Then evaluation is about continuous measurement. Another class exercise. So we're going to go back to that. Don't worry, don't get tired of exercises. It's just to help us to get results out of this session, right? We're getting close to the end of the whole session, so don't worry. Okay, so the next one is, do we need JD or why do we need JD? So you're going to type here, why do we need JD or why do we not need JD? Put it in the chat box if you are not on Mentimeter. If I'm Mentimeter, we still have our 7 solid human on Mentimeter. Is it that you don't know how to use this Mentimeter, or you can't minimize? I understand you may not be able to minimize. So this kind of thing is actually helpful when you have another device. Probably you join the session either on laptop, and then you can use your phone on Mentimeter. Yeah. Okay, so thank you. I can see someone within JD. No, yeah. Okay, within JD. Why do we need JD? So put it there. So, to specify rules, to specify rules to be performed. You wanted to say tasks to be performed. In order to specify or to communicate or list the roles or the tasks to be performed. Thank you, Olusegun. Okay. If you think we don't need JD, you can also put it there. It's not necessary, but I don't think there's anybody that will put that. It's the foundation of performance management. Thank you, Noye. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Okay. Clarity of roles and tasks performed. Beautiful. Clarity. Very important. Clarity is very important. We need JD to give a clear description of what is expected. Speaking to the output. Thank you. Okay, so we can keep it coming that way. So you're going to take one role in your team, in your organization. Take one role and drop one or two actual output expected of that role. So you can take a role. Let's say you can take any role as an HR person, even as an employee or as an employer. Just take one role. What do you expect? So you're going to say this role to produce this. Okay, so I'm Folashade, thank you. I will listen. I know you are still responding to why do we need JD now, right? So it's to prevent role confusion. Beautiful, excellent. Okay, so the second exercise is that take one role. That is, you're going to pick one role. You can say marketing, for instance. And what is that role is to produce? Okay, you can take one or two and tell me what it is to produce in the chat box or on the Mentimeter. So let's see who is on Mentimeter now. Do we have anybody left in Mentimeter? We still have 7 people and nobody has responded yet. So anywhere that is comfortable for you to do that, please go ahead. I want us to take practical insight out of this session. A lot of us, we can do a lot of things, but because we've not started doing it, or you think you don't have a platform to do it, or the opportunity is not there to do it in your organization. Maybe someone else is doing it, all right? And you know that what the person is doing, based on what you have gathered so far, is not correct, but you lack confidence to even call it out. You're not doing yourself any good, trust me. So one of the things you must know how to do is to give feedback without actually making anybody feel looking bad, right? And again, there are some things you also you can't help. So you may be talking from a good place of a good intention, and some individuals are actually trying to, misunderstand what you are saying. Misunderstanding sometimes can be manipulative, meaning that the individual actually, in real sense, understand what you are saying, but he's just trying to create issue. So, but you must try as much as possible to give feedback in a way that is not hurtful, right? But again, you can't completely eradicate that because emotion, it is a personal thing. So while you try, don't ensure that you are not silenced your thoughts. I mean, you are not prevented from sharing the thought the right way possible. Okay, so the roles that you have picked, thank you, and the expectation. I can see payroll personnel to prepare accurate salaries for all staff. Beautiful. To prepare accurate salary for all staff, right? Because one of the reasons why the salary must be accurate is to prevent issues, is to prevent losing employee, losing talent, is to prevent, reduce recruitment costs and all of that. So there are a lot of uh, how do I put it now? The business outcome to these roles. So you see, so it's not just to pay salary. This person said to prepare and pay accurate salary to all staff. So, well, by the time this one now, you then can easily draw KPI from it. This is a key result area, right? This is a key result area. HR to ensure 80% employee satisfaction rate by H2, that is quarter 2, I think, 2026, to ensure 80% employee satisfaction rate. So when you say employee satisfaction rate, you probably can be talking about net promoter. So net promoter, for you to achieve 80% net promoter means that you are doing well, means that employee is satisfied and is going to recommend or can recommend your company to a family or friend. For me, say L&D to manage employee career progression. Okay, that's one of them. Beautiful, right? And beyond progression is also to ensure that what employees are building the relevant capabilities to deliver on their role, to add meaning to the organization, to which is going to definitely improve on what on organizations um, 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 uh, bottom line, exactly. financial. If time permits today, we're going to look at BSC, balance scorecard, how these things actually help, how it affects employees in organization finance. ICU nurse, okay, to effectively provide patient care outcome. To effectively provide patient care outcomes. Well, this is not a bit straight, but I think I understand what you are doing. To provide effective, patient care. All right. So, of course, ICU is what ICU again? ICU is something that critical issue. Is a unit. Can you write out the full meaning of ICU? I know it's critical unit, something critical unit or something like that. Then no, you say HR to ensure time to hire is 30 days reduced. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, beautiful by 20% by year end. Beautiful. Thank you for your contributions to that particular session. So let's go back to the slide now. Okay. Now we are running. Okay. So we've looked at the class exercises, the effective performance management cycle. Effective performance management cycle starts from what? From goal setting. But really, it's actually, okay, so this is performance management. Now, after you have gotten the JD, there's role clarity. The JD was, you see, you must administer JD. It goes beyond just, I don't know why I keep emphasizing this. It goes beyond just sending the JD to the employer and say, okay, that's it. So that's all. Really? I'm sorry. That's one of the reasons why employee can be so confused when they join a business. So I think we're all clear on that. So now, effectively managing performance starts with goal setting, to ongoing feedback, to mid-year and annual review. In some cases, in fact, quarterly review, monthly review, anyone you can do. But if you are doing quarterly review, you must have a way of actually doing constant feedback. There must be conversation, right? This is what I encourage. Monthly feedback system. Try and create a monthly feedback system. Okay. Coaching and development, ongoing coaching and development, reward decision making, tie performance appraisal or performance outcome to reward. So let them kiss each other, let them handshake each other. Then align the cycle with strategy. You keep refining it with strategy. Okay, from JD to performance evaluation. Okay, so from JD to expectation to KPI to evaluation, we've spoken a lot on this. Component of a standard JD. Component of a standard JD, I can see that we have some messages. Compliance to ensure that staff adhere to company policies. Okay, thank you. Is it right to rotate JD among staff and how often? To rotate JD among staff, I'm trying to understand that. I'm talking about job rotation, right? I'm talking about job rotation to rotate job. When you say JD, JD is peculiar to a particular role. So if you are handling this role, of course, you have to give JD. So when there is now movement, maybe like career movement within the organization, you give another person role, a particular person another role. Of course, it has to be accompanied with JD. I know we see in organization, we do a lot of things that sometimes can be very funny. So you move somebody, you already know that there's a plan to move somebody. Why not prepare the JD before the person assume the role? Why? On what basis do you make those decisions? How can somebody resume a new role 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, and in some cases they don't get any JD? So they are saying in their mind, even though they are sitting in another role, it's hard to divorce the previous role they were handling, or there is no clear expectation as to how they are going to be measured. And of course, there is even no clear, those rules, the new rules are not even tied to their KPI for the year. So please, this cannot be overemphasized. Component of a standard job description, job title. I always say, keep the job title relevant. not just about vague roles, big names, without impact, without clarity. Job title should be brief. Should be a brief word. Should be brief. Should be concise. Should be relevant. There's no need calling a role a manager if the person is not performing any managerial role or duty, right? Or the role is just something that a junior person can do, and the pay does not even is not commensurate to the. So you see, some names are big, are vague, and they do not have economic impact in the life of the people that are carrying the roles or the title. So job purpose is a brief overview of why the role exists and how it works, it contributes to the organization. So there are three parameters that the job purpose must always follow. The job purpose must communicate the primary objective of the role, right? Then the approach through which this role is expected to actually deliver the responsibilities. And then lastly is the business outcome. What is the business outcome? What will be the business outcome of this role? How is this? What value is this role adding, right, to the business? That is the business outcome. That is the business outcome. So, moving on to responsibilities, like we said earlier, responsibility is the key result area. Is where you define the key result areas, right, of that responsibility. That's why you have the, and it must always start with what? With a verb, with a verb, an action word. Ensure, collaborate, ensure this, ensure that, ensure this, ensure that. So it's always like that, right? Ensure roles are performed, ensure JD is given, ensure. So you can go on and on and on like that. So that's key result area, responsibilities. Then job specifications. Those job specifications comes with, the qualification, the experience, required experience, the professional qualification, the skills, that is KSA, knowledge, skills and abilities required, and then the reporting line, Okay, how did you support performance management? How did you support performance management? We've all released, dropped some of these insights, right? You provide role expectations, clear role expectation, you communicate that, give basis for objective and KPI setting. It's actually, the actual performance versus expected outcome. So it provide insights on that. And it provides fair and clear performance evaluation. So from JD to evaluation, let's use commercial department as an example. So this is revenue growth. This is a key result area. This is an expectation, performance expectation of this particular department or unit. So the key expectation is revenue growth. Then the key result is what? Increase revenue and market share by what? Say revenue growth by percentage, market share by percentage, gross margin by percentage. Those are different what? Those are different KPI. So under one key result area, you have 3 different KPIs to measure. So don't just tell me that you are generating revenue. You are generating revenue across what? Or you are growing revenue across revenue growth, market share, and gross margin. Sales effectiveness, improve sales performance. Through how? In 3 different ways: target achievement, conversion rate, and revenue per rep. Customer development, expand and retain customers. New customers, retention rate for the old ones. So it's not just bring this. It's not just about the end result. It's about how, right, that you have incorporated into that processes. Now, to the performance enablement model. I released this model recently, and I'm going to quickly explain it to us And if you have any question around it, you can also drop. So there are 5 C of performance enablement. The number 1 C is clarity, and the clarity speaks to how how performance actually is positioned. We've all talked about clarity around JD. So it has to sync. You cannot over communicate the performance expectations to an employee, but you can under communicate. And when you under communicate, it blurs the clarity, it blurs their view, and there is lack of clarity. So once there is lack of clarity, forget it. You cannot achieve anything from the performance appraiser or performance management processes that you have in place. So people should know what is expected, and what is expected of them, what is expected of their roles, and what success look like from the get-going. So it gives some sense of confidence that my input we can't hear, because this is what success looks like for me. Under normal circumstances, right? An employee is meant to be able to, at least when you have prepped them with their JD, you can tell them to write their KPIs and bring to you. So what do you understand of your role? What are you going to be measured with? Let that be like an exercise. Well, of course, that might not, pull through, but trust me, I have done that in my role. So there's KPI, then there's sign off. You prepare the KPI, then there's sign off. That is an agreement, right? So what are the key points under this clarity? There must be clear job description. There must be defined output and deliverables. There must be measurable targets, and there must be realistic timelines. Then moving to C number 2, the second C, which is capability, which is asking, does people have the skills, tools, and resources to win in the market, to win on this job, to succeed in this role, right? So the key actions there is asking about targeted training and development. Has that been provided? Has training been provided? Yeah. Is there access to tools and systems? Is there does the employee have the job specific knowledge? Yeah, are there gaps to close? Right. So that is why induction, right, and off-taker training is required sometimes. So is there an opportunity for continuous learning? So at the work be structured, even the reporting line, as everything be structured is such that the job itself provides a continuous learning. There's a model, learning and development model, 70-20-10, right, that you can use. 70% of the learning comes from the job, on the job training. 20% comes of the social learning through mentoring, through coaching and feedback. And then the 10% comes from the classroom learning. So you must have such framework in place. Then consistency speaks to regular conversations, feedback, and follow through that drive meaningful performance progress. So the key actions there are there frequent check-ins, weekly, monthly, we spoke about already. Continuous feedback loops, right? There a loops, through which feedback are given. Track progress and adjust. So does our performance, the feedback process or loop itself provide, opportunity for adjustment and visible progress, documented progress? Then does it hold people accountable? Accountability is key. Do we hold people accountable? Does our performance management system hold people accountable? Then to coaching, are people supported? Are people challenged? Are people empowered to grow? One thing about coaching is that coaching is not teaching people how to do a particular thing. Coaching is helping the individual to see their potentials and begin to leverage on those potential by themselves. So it's probing, right? So is a tool through which we challenge people to grow and empower them to grow. So it's speaking to effective coaching conversation, development plans, or developmental plans, stretch goals and support, recognition and encouragement. And then the last C is consequences, which speaks to performance, reward, recognition, and other ways of actually reinforcing good performance, correcting poor performance, and ensure consistency of the process itself. So this speaks to reward for results, timely recognition. Don't delay. Timely recognition is very key, right? Constructive correction. You know why timely recognition is very key? Sometimes when you have top performance, especially in a very dramatic environment, right? An archaic environment, a top performer or a high performer can be bullied for performing. Why are you doing so much? Why are you working so hard? They can be throwing jabs at such people, right? It's your father's work, or even in a nice way. You are working so hard, in a way that demoralize, or demotivates such employee. But when you bring in recognition programs and you are doing it timely, you are reinforcing the good behavior. And then you are putting those, of course, you are discouraging unwanted behavior. Let me use the right terms for that. Okay. Then growth opportunities. Then you create room for growth opportunity. And then it creates room for what? For positive competition. Because when you reward people for, people now want to continue to also be. So it's a positive competition. Oh, Temitope got the best employee of the month last month. I want to get this month on. So it's then produce sustainable performance. That is clarity plus capability plus consistency plus coaching plus consequences. We give birth to what? Sustainable performance, right? Performance-driven culture. So when these 5 aligns, performance becomes predictable. Of course, you can always predict it. Okay, so moving on. This is about enabling people, building capacity, and driving results. Then the newest framework that is not yet out, we are the first to see this, is what I call the performance governance framework, which is ensuring accountability, alignment, and sustainable results. 5 elements, 1 outcome: controlled and sustainable performance. And number 1 on that is alignment. Alignment speaks to how focused we are on the right things, right? How focused an organization is on the right thing. Are we focused? Is our focus on the right thing? Key action here speaks to business goals, cascade to team, and individual KPIs. Now, for those of us that actually use MBO, that we adopted MBO framework in an organization. MBO framework is not a problem. It's one of the most effective, framework. But are we ready to put in the required level of work, right, to make that system work? So that is what we are talking about here. Are business goals being cascaded to departments and teams and individuals in such a way that it is easy to understand? Strategic coaching. Do you provide strategic coaching? Does your role, JD provide role clarity? Or is there role clarity across levels? Right? So without alignment, effort is wasted. We've all looked at this during through the meet and some other aspects of the slide earlier. Then the second one, the second pillar in this framework is accountability. Is there clarity around who owns what? And are they what they are responsible for? Do they know what they are responsible for? Is there some kind of SLA, right? Service level agreement between departments. So, and how well are we incorporating this into our KPIs? Very, very important. Accountability is key, because now, for instance, you rate HR for you talking about participation, employee satisfaction, employee participation in HR or talent management programs and all of that. So why should HR suffer for after putting all those things in place, then employee refuse to participate? How can you also link it? What importance are you communicating around these activities to other employees that need to make themselves available? Something like that as a good example. Okay, so what is not owned is not delivered. So if you make it look like it is this job affair, for instance, payroll or timely payment of salary. So there are different responsibilities that lies on different roles. So if you are rating or measuring or appraising HR alone on salary payments, and you are not appraising finance, then it is unfair. There is lack of accountability. That is one of the things this is speaking to. What is not owned is not delivered. Okay, meaning that, well, HR wants to send me your stuff, even you send it on the 22, my own is to pay. There is no rule that says I must pay it on or before 25th of the month. You understand? So measurement, speaking to how we track performance and what we track. Are we tracking the right things and what truly matters? Speaking to what I've always earlier said on accountability as well, is our performance appraiser or metrics or KPIs outcome-based? Are they outcome-based KPIs? Are they leading or lagging indicators? If you have been in my class, you understand what that means. Leading and lagging, we can't go into that now. Data-driven performance tracking. Okay, is that performance tracking data-driven or sentimental? What is not measured cannot be improved. What is not measured cannot be improved. Then the review and control is the fourth pillar of this framework. Are we staying on track? Monthly, quarterly, half-yearly, annual appraisal. Are we doing all of these things? In some places now, performance are tracked weekly. Then variance analysis. So do we just keep quiet on what is rated or what is measured, or are we improving on the outcomes, right? Then corrective actions. What actions are we doing, are we taking to correct poor performance or the gaps, to close the gaps, right? Like the performance improvement plan for the organization at the departmental level, for a team, and for an individual. Then decision and consequences. What happens, right, after performance have been evaluated? Do we give reward? Are poor performers still in the business? Are there visible performance improvement program in place, and are they eventually exited from the business? Because of course, if you are not doing this, you are only enforcing or reinforcing poor performance, and high performer can actually drop the ball, begin to decline their performance if you do not take action. That is, if you do not reward recognition, if performance improvement actions are not in place, if promotion redeployment decisions are not made, and if exit decisions are also not made. So performance must lead to an outcome. Okay, all of this put together, alignment plus accountability, measurement, review, and decision, will provide controlled and sustainable performance. Overall, when performance is governed well, results becomes consistent. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any question, I will take, and then we'll wrap up this session for today. Any question? Back to you, Ryan.
All right. Thank you very much, TA. Thank you so much for this symposium. And I want to think you would agree with me that today's session is actually a masterclass. I mean, this is information that you would normally have to pay for, but this is coming in free for you, courtesy of TA. So, for those that are still on the call, I would say thank you very much for still holding on till this time. You could just click on the react button, or just chat to say a big thank you to TA for this wonderful presentation. So the floor is open for us to ask our questions. So please feel free to make use of the chat box to drop your questions, and I will take it up from there. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you for being attentive and holding on till this time. It shows that we HR professionals, we are very dedicated, and we want to put in our best when it comes to performance management, and put in the new inputs and the new insights that we've gotten, and apply them to our jobs in our teams with our line managers and the rest. So if we have any questions, please just drop it. I'll take it up from there. Okay, Tia, I don't know if you've responded to Fumi's question. I think she dropped that earlier. She said, is it right to rotate JD among staff, and how often?
Is it right to?
Yes, Fumi. She asked that question, I think, in the course of your presentation, but I don't know if you've attended to it.
If it is right to what? Can you read out the question again?
Is it right to rotate JD among staff, and how often?
Okay, so I think what I picked from that question, from another angle now, I'm looking at rotate JD, that is collect JD from this person and give it to another person, right? Because it's a role. If the role responsibility remain the same, if the role expectations, the outcomes remain the same, yes, I will say, if nothing has changed, right? I want to believe that's what she's talking about.
Okay.
From rotating JD, I picked it earlier from the angle of moving employee from one department to from one role to another, and I said, if you are moving employee from, okay, you want to provide an insight? Okay, go ahead.
More context, yes, please.
Go ahead. Go ahead for me.
Thank you very much. I don't wanted to make it clear. Thank you. That was a wonderful presentation. I appreciate you for the value you really gave us this evening. Okay, the thing is, I'm from the public service, and you know that it's a bit large. So I at the L&D unit of my ministry, and I deal with service wide. So I have about 6 officers under me. So what I mean by moving JD is I try as much as possible to make sure that all these officers knows what each responsibility, when it comes to duties. Okay, maybe this month I've given you this duty, deal with level 1 to 6. Okay, do their probably confirmation of appointment. Okay, maybe you should deal with the approval for further studies. So by in 3 months' time, I want you to leave that particular task. I want somebody else to take it up so that in case of you're being moved from this place to another place, you can as well say, I've gained something from this particular end. So that is where I'm actually coming from, sir. So I hope you get me now.
So that's job rotation. So assuming that one person is a, let's say, customer care, another person is in HR, another person is in admin, admin officer.
No, they are all in L&D. They are all in L&D.
They are all in
different
L&D.
levels. Yes,
at
for different levels.
different level.
You know, we use grade level. We have level 8, level 9, level 10. So the purpose of doing that for me is to make sure that
Wait,
in case there is
for
somebody
somebody,
missing, we are able
hold
to
on,
still do the task
hold on,
without being stressed.
hold on. So
Okay, I'm with you.
somebody in a level 1, for instance, and level 2, what is the difference in what they are doing?
And maybe one is doing the main job, the other one is also doing that job, but is also like a supervisor.
Okay, so it depends. You have to find a way to distinguish their jobs. You have to find a way to
Okay.
distinguish their jobs. Very, very, very key. You know, there are a lot of roles in
Okay.
N&D,
Okay.
and that's what you even want to do now to make meaning or make sense of it. You know, one person can be in charge of one role, can be in charge of, let's say, um, TNA, for instance, training need analysis. You know, you can just group tasks. So you can list all the tasks that needs to be done from end to end tasks for this learning and development purposes in your organization. What and what and what and what and what that needs to be done from, citing or getting the training need, into developing the training curriculum, into preparing the training schedules, into preparing the training materials, into preparing training certificates. List them and then distribute it among the number of employees you have. Then prepare a JD based on those responsibilities allotted to a particular role or a level. You can call them different names: learning and development specialist, learning and development analyst, learning and development coordinator, learning and development or training manager, or whatever. So you have a division of labor and role clarity. Because if you just group them together, they are just earning this different salary, doing the same thing. That's the confusion already, and you are going to be to appraise them is going to be hard. So that way, what each role is responsible for, and beyond that, you also know the level of experience required for XYZ roles to be performed. Because somebody that is just new in that field or in that organization can actually do the basic ones, right? Like supporting the training, putting the training, preparing the training venue, arranging chairs, ensure the facility is ready for training, contacting the participants, So then you can't compare that person with somebody that is responsible for preparing slides. Somebody that's going to prepare slides is somebody that has a good knowledge of the job. So you differentiate it that way and have different JD. So if you're now moving, it's easy to now say, okay, this JD is what it is for this role, right? And your job rotation will make a lot of sense from that. Now, from Peace Awana, I can see a question. I don't know if you want to read it. No, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, TA. So for me, I hope TA has done justice to your question. So we have a question from Peace Awana, and
Very well, ma.
she's
Thank you very much.
asking. All right, you're welcome, Fumi. Thank you. Okay, so we have a question from Peace Awana, and she's asking, in a situation where there is a clearly defined JD and performance check is conducted almost monthly or weekly, but employees' performance is still below expectation, what can HR do to move from tracking activity to performance results?
Okay, so performance appraisal is not supposed to be judgmental. It's supposed to be developmental. So if the role are clearly stated, supported with a clear JD, and the performance check is done monthly or weekly. So we need to find out, beyond saying that employee is not performing, what are the gaps? What are the gaps? So one of the things you must do in performance is performance improvement plan. For every performance cycle or performance for every performance cycle or performance period or performance appraisal you do, there must be, so you are either the employee is poorly performing or performing as expected or performing optimally, as outstanding or exceed expectation level. So your intervention or your response will differ based on these three categories. For a poor performing employee, what is your plan for them? What is the performance improvement plan you put in place? So you must have a performance improvement plan meeting with them as an HR now. So you're a middleman. You see, just like I said that the responsibility of JD drafting is not supposed to be left for line manager alone. Everything from start to finish, it's a collaborative effort between HR and the line manager. So you set up a performance improvement plan by designing the form. These line managers, a lot of time, they understand what you are saying, but they don't understand the process. So you have to put the process around it. Design the form. The form, by design, is already guiding what needs to put in place, what needs to be put in place. Okay, that is, in the form, you are defining what are the focus area. That is the core area where the employee is not performing. Don't just say you are not performing. Say that you are not doing well in this XYZ area. So this is the area you are not doing well. Then what is going to be the developmental action? So for you to improve in this area, you have to do XYZ. For instance, now, let's use Fumi case. Let's use Fumi as a case study. Fumi's the role as a case study. So let's assume that she has a training analyst. A training analyst that probably do the basic jobs, basic training jobs. So can somebody drop for me now those basic training jobs that come to mind? Those basic training at the very elementary level. The responsibility of a training analyst at the very basic level, such as what could that be? I was listening in the other time. That's why I like to use whiteboard. Let me see if I can call up a whiteboard for this purpose so that we can interact better. You should be able to see my whiteboard loading. Okay. No. Okay. So say training analyst. So the responsibility of this training analyst, let's say, is contact training participants, contact participants for registration, right? Prepare, ensure training facilities are in place. training facility, meaning that the person will ensure that the training rooms are is well arranged, well cleaned. Markers are there, the projectors are ready. You see, ensure does not mean that is this person that will put all those things in place. That means this person is definitely going to probably be liaising with, working closely with cleaners, working closely with technical team, working closely with procurement to ensure that markers are gotten, what's it called, food for training participants are in place. You understand what we are saying? So you can list all those jobs like that. So let's now assume that training materials are not always in place. The guy is suffering in this area. You list out all those areas where the guy is suffering, or where the job is suffering, right? Where the job is suffering. So key focus area in PIP for this person. For this job order, right? Training completion rate. No, training completion rate is not applicable here directly. Training completion rate is actually a KPI for an HR manager, talking about the training plan for the year. Does employee say you plan 10 training for an employee? Does the employee complete the training? You can also use it for employees. So if you are factoring training into their KPI, right? To say we are allotted training, 10 training for you in this quarter. You do complete it. So that's that. So for this person, let's say late communication is one of the issues this guy is suffering. You call that that it is not sending training notice to participants on time. Late communication, late training communication. Somebody is drawing on my distance. Late training communication, right? Then let's say can somebody bring up something? Fumi, are you there? Late training communication. What else? Late certificate preparation or certificate issuance. Now you see participant then coming back to you asking for training certificate that you're supposed to issue at the end of the training and give them. They have to come back repeatedly. So this kind of areas, you call it out. So what you now say, what is going to be the outcome? How are we going to measure the improvement? So you now begin to list what we are going to do to correct this issue. Okay, so here I can say employee must what? Employee must, or you say ensure participants are communicated via mail. Say are called, communicated via mail, are called first. Okay, are called, very key. Then communicated via mail 2 weeks before the training. continuously updated before the training. So you can just get creative with it like that. And so you all the things that you have all agree that the employee is going to do, then you come up with how you are going to track the progress, right? So these are just way to manage this kind of issue, Pamela. I hope that's answered the question. So when you then place this employee on performance improvement plan, there is a period you have to allot to it. Is it 1 month performance improvement plan? Is it 3 months? So what is your performance cycle or period? Yes, your performance appraisal cycle will determine. So if you are doing quarterly review, then you want to put the employee on what? On, let's say, maybe 1 month improvement plan. 1 month improvement plan, or throughout that quarter, right? So say, okay, we'll be watching you, I'll be helping you, I'll be monitoring. So this monitoring process, this performance is a way to help that employee. So by checking, by following up, where are we on this? What are the challenges? What are you, where, how so as part of the improvement, okay, you also call up training that the person is likely going to attend. Okay, so take training on, let's say, time management, for instance, right? Time management, right? So maybe you've also noticed that the guy is not managing his time well. So to help him, so you can imagine which employee will not want to improve in this kind of scenario. And when if this employee now fail to, improve with all this support, that is not even doing all these things, of course, the next appraiser, of course, maybe he's doing doing well in some area, not doing well in some area. So it's subjected, the appraiser, the performance has improved. So the other areas, you subject it to another performance improvement plan for the subsequent. See, we must not, people are supposed to be managed. That's the whole essence of you having line manager, having all this manager, all this role that will. But you see, when people are not managing people, you then begin to throw people away for not performing. That is not supposed to be the reaction. Because if you want to throw everybody away, you want to throw people away for proper, you throw everybody away. And you keep losing potentials. That's another thing entirely. Talking about potentials. You could have poor performance that have potentials for better performance. So your patience level, your ability to manage poor performance, right, or poor performer, will tell how best you can get, or how best you can get the potential out of these people and translate it to good performance. Okay, it looks like there's no other question. I'll just show you a quick. What's the next thing in our agenda? It's past 9. We need to close.
Yes, so we need to emphasize on our upcoming training and symposium, and then we
Okay.
draw the session to a close. Yes.
Okay. Our upcoming training will be on onboarding, and we'll be
Yes,
bringing in a very seasoned professional. So you guys should be
professional.
on the
Yes.
lookout for that session next week, Wednesday. We will definitely be here again.
Okay.
A quick intro from Texi Consulting, which I think we should be closing with. I think we can bring that video on now, right? For participant view. There are different trainings from Texi Consulting.
Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to introduce introducing Texel Consulting. Our mission is to empower businesses to reach their full potential through growth opportunities and process optimization. Whether you're a startup or an established enterprise, Texel Consulting provides the expertise to guide your journey. We prioritize building strong client relationships, gaining deep insights into your challenges and objectives to deliver customized, impactful solutions. Our team stays at the forefront of industry trends, continuously investing in research and development to offer the most effective strategies. Texel Consulting stands out for our excellence and dedication to client success. We measure our success by yours, ensuring every project delivers tangible value and sustainable growth. Choose Texel Consulting as your trusted partner for transformation and success. Thank you.
Okay, over to you, Noye. So we might have to share the link for people to join the group for as many of our participants who are new,
Okay.
who wants to join our community. So that link will be made available shortly in the group, and you can complete it, and then somebody will add you to the platform. Thank you for having me, Noye.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, T, for this very insightful symposium. Just to reiterate what he has said, this is going to be a weekly symposium. So we have another one lined up for next week, Wednesday, precisely on the 29th of April. And the topic is designing onboarding programs that improve retention. And this is going to be facilitated by Ifoma Agulefu. So please, you don't want to miss this. Onboarding is one of the pillars as well when it comes to delivering HR value chain. So please make it a date with us. We would also do well to share our flyers and send out communications to you so that you will be a part of this. It promises to be interesting. All right. Thank you very much to everyone. And we hope to see you next week, Wednesday, same time, 7 p.m. Thank you very much for the time you've invested with us. I would say, okay, all right. Yeah, so those that are interested in getting a certificate, I will drop my contact details as well for you to reach out to me, okay? Or you can send a chat to me here so that I can take it up from there. Thank you very much to everyone, and I want to say have a restful night. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm thrilled to introduce to you Texel Consulting. Our mission is to empower businesses to reach their full potential through growth opportunities and process optimization. Whether you're a startup or an established enterprise, Texel Consulting provides the expertise to guide your journey. We prioritize building strong client relationships, gaining deep insights into your challenges and objectives to deliver customized, impactful solutions. Our team stays at the forefront of industry trends, continuously investing in research research and development to offer the most effective strategies. Texel Consulting stands out for our excellence and dedication to client success. We measure our success by yours, ensuring every project delivers tangible value and sustainable growth. Choose Texel Consulting as your trusted partner for transformation and success. Thank you.